Nearly 100 years after the establishment of CSDB, the enrollment averaged 350 students. In 1974, CSDB celebrated its centennial and then looked to the future.
Gary Washington, his name sign is a G up here, not like the commonly known sign for Washington. Graduated from here in '73. I was a student here at that time, and I watched him play high school football and basketball and track, and he was just the best. I mean, he was truly the best athlete this school's ever seen. Up until the 1970s, the people had never come out to see an athlete like they did for Gary. They came to watch him play, and the deaf community, they loved him. They loved to watch him play. And he just got better and better and better, and even CU wanted him to go play for them. Now in track, all the way through high school, freshman to senior year, he never lost a single race. The 100, 200, 400, now this was 1A. In 2A and 3A competitions, he might have lost a couple here and there, but by and large, it was nothing but first place finishes. In '73, this was Gary's senior year, Nixon was president, and the top student athletes were chosen from each division. At this time, there were only 3 divisions. There were 3A, 2A, and 1A. But the top student athletes were chosen, and they picked Gary, and they gave him an award, the Steinmark Award. And this was a huge honor. And this was really the highest honor a high school athlete could receive. President Nixon even invited them. They got to actually go to the White House and meet President Nixon. So they went with his coach, Joe Cisneros, and they were there, with an interpreter, and it was the coach and the interpreter there, and they were talking back and forth, and Nixon shook his hand and jokingly asked him if he wanted to play for the Washington Redskins.
In 1974, Robert Dawson became the school superintendent, and the local chapter of the Telephone Pioneers of America built a guided running track for students who were blind. Soon thereafter, the Pikes Peak overpass was constructed to allow students unobstructed access to the school's athletic fields across Pikes Peak Avenue. '77 was an outstanding year for CSDB in sports. The CSDB football team won the 8-man state championship.
I came here in 1965 as a young child, my first year, same as Ralph and Don. And really from that time up until we graduated, it was the same people. We knew each other. We were like siblings. And that's what made that 77 team so special.
But really, we all worked really well together as a team. It was great. I think our team was the best we've ever had.
Through that whole season, I think we were really fortunate that we were able to handle the pressure that we were under from beginning to end. The first 3 games were tough. We beat Wiley, and then we played Simla, and that was an intense game. It was at Simla, but we did beat them.
As far as rivals go, I would say historically, throughout the years, the Simla game was evenly matched.
So at that time, we went to the state championship, and really it was right after Thanksgiving week.
In the days leading up to the game, we were a bit apprehensive. We had full faith in our team, but the weather was a bit of an issue. Those winds were up to 60 miles an hour, and we knew that we had a good running game, not much of a passing attack, but we knew that running game would give us a chance. So even though we kept our eyes on the windows watching that weather, we still had confidence in ourselves.
And the team, as we walked over the bridge to the football field, we came across the top and we could see the entire crowd, and the atmosphere was just electric with everybody signing, and there were alumni and my parents and their friends, and the place was just going crazy.
Beginning of the first quarter, we received the kickoff, and it wasn't but 1 or 2 plays till we fumbled the ball. Other team recovers, we were shocked. Just like that, we were down 8-0. They were swarming Merle all over him all game. So we decided we're not going to follow what the coach tells us. So we audibled to a quarterback sneak, took it up the middle for 60 yards for a touchdown.
I'll never forget 20 to 16.
16.
CSDB has had many successful wrestlers over the years. In the late 60s, after wrestling for CSDB, Walter Von Felt placed second in the freestyle wrestling competition at the World Games for the Deaf. 3 students from the School for the Deaf won state championships in wrestling. Merle Macada won his first, Bernie Atencio his second, and a third state title for Jesus Contreras. Bernie and Jesus are listed in the top 25 wrestling career records ever for Colorado between 1974 and 1977. Between 1982 and 2004, the school had 2 superintendents, Gordon Kaufman and Marilyn Jeatley. In 1984, the Hubert Work Gymnasium was renovated with the addition of the Weiner Galuzzo multipurpose facility, which included a 2-lane bowling alley, 2 outdoor tennis courts, and the Bulldog Activity Center. Goalball originated in 1946, later becoming a Paralympic sport. CSDB formed competitive teams in the mid-90s.
Goalball is a sport for the blind. It was developed in World War II for the blind vets. It's played on a gym floor. You have a center and 2 wings. Everybody's blindfolded, and you have a ball that's a little bigger than a basketball, and it has a bell inside of it. And you take the ball and you roll it like a bowling ball. And the object is to get it past the other team into a goal. It was important to start goalball at CSDB because I felt like, as a person with a visual impairment, my sports was not fair. So goalball gave everybody an even playing field. It gave students at CSDB their own sport for the blind that they could excel in, that they could go as far as they wanted to with it. And along my way, I ended up becoming an elite player. And so I thought, I'll get this developed and we'll start and get some of the kids playing it. So I started having kids come and we just kind of played. And I thought, this could go even further. So then I thought, well, how do I get other teams to come in and play with the kids? So I started speaking at different organizations and going to public schools and working with their PE classes and doing that type of thing. Thought, well, I'm going to have a homecoming tournament. Then that way, the School for the Blind will have have something that's special for them at homecoming. And so then I just started inviting other teams from Schools for the Blind around the United States.
Beginning in 2000, Ritter and Brown halls were remodeled with ADA-compliant living units and apartments for students. The new dormitories included tactile artwork and upgraded technology. In 2002, CSDB started competing in the Academic Bowl.
So the first time was in 2002. I was a sophomore, and we had 2 sophomores and 1 senior on the team. The 3 of us flew out, and it was the first time for us. We met many deaf individuals there, and it was really cool where we met many different deaf individuals from different states that year.
When we got back, people had raised their expectations. Next year we had to be even better.
So really, to be honest, it was a really close match, and winning.
Yeah, we were
It was
behind.
the 3rd round where we finally won when we added up the total.
So then the 3rd round was the World Capitals. And I remember checking that list and filling it out and, feeling fairly confident I got most of them right.
When the judges totaled up the score and announced we won the championship, I was shocked, and it was my senior year too.
It's interesting because 2004, that year, just wow. The 4 of us were strong competitors. We were very well rounded. When we went to nationals, the four of us, it was more of a competition between ourselves. So yeah, we were competing against the other teams. They were there, but it was more about trying to outdo each other. That year was really a healthy competition. It was a positive thing. And 2004, boy, that was our best year.
Between 2004 and 2019, Carol Hilty was superintendent. The Gottlieb Building, the school building that was rebuilt in 1952 after the fire devastated the original building, was renovated in 2011. The renovation modernized the building. Many historic features were kept, and a new extension was added.
This is the Gottlieb Building. There was a fire in 1952 that devastated the building. It was reconstructed, and then in 2011 remodeled with an extension. The walls and windows were kept, specifically to preserve its history. This space is so great because it's open, deaf people can see each other signing, and they have a round seating area in the center.
Here we are in the new media center. We hold classes here. There are several computers, variety of different books, and even more upstairs.
Classrooms were equipped with automatic and interactive components, including a large format LED screen with additional hardware so it can be used as an interactive screen for teaching and learning activities. A touch panel controls the screen, lights, window shades, and technology for distance learning. In 2015, every student received either a laptop or a tablet computer for use in the classroom.
In 2013, the Adams Building, the facility for the School for the Blind program, was updated with a unique multi-track lighting system. Teachers can use software to adjust the brightness and color temperature of individual rows of lights in the classroom. After they evaluate our lighting needs, based on eye condition and visual comfort, they program the LED lights. Students with similar lighting needs can sit together. For example, I prefer brighter lights, and students with albinism in my class prefer less intense colored lights. Having the right lighting makes the classroom more comfortable so that it's easier to learn.
Jones and Palmer were renovated in 2018 and 2019. Dr. Benham became superintendent in 2019. Since 1874, the Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind has educated and been a home away from home for thousands of students. As education has progressed over the years, CSDB services for students on campus and throughout Colorado have expanded and evolved. CSDB continues to be a statewide resource for students, families, districts, and professionals. CSDB embraces its past while looking forward to what the future will bring.